It's Rome and welcome to another episode of Homefront. But today is a very special episode. Yes, we do have nurses on set, but this is our first episode of Homefront Unplugged. Now we realize that in Trinidad and Tobago, we are in a crisis. We are actually in a state of emergency right now. So we decided today to have a special episode of Homefront where we get down and dirty. We get to the nitty-gritty of what is happening at the hospitals, and no other person better than to speak to would be the nurses who are at the front line. They are dealing directly with the COVID-19 positive patients, and we have two beautiful nurses here with us to discuss what is happening on the ground. I would like to introduce to you all Ms. Jamie Charles on this, and we have Ms. Shalana Bihari. Welcome to our set, nurses on set, ladies. So let me jump in with Nurse Shalana. So Shalana, tell me, you're both at Couva.
Yes.
What is it like in Couva right now?
In Couva right now, it is very demanding. The hours are long, and it's also a lot of trying to cope with the number of deaths we face every day.
So every day you all are seeing this firsthand.
Yeah.
Let me start and I'm going deep one time.
Sure.
Do you feel as though you have a connection to each and every patient, or do you have to detach yourselves from the patients in terms of dealing with the deaths?
To survive, you have to detach ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
This way, we're seeing young people around ages 30 to 40 dying, and that's around my age.
So you're seeing people around that age dying in front of you?
Yeah. So it's different. It hits home different because before it was people over 50 years, and you know, we tend to say they're old, they live their life.
Right, right.
But when it's around your age, it's like a reality check that this thing real and this thing here and this thing very dangerous.
And Shalana as well, I heard that you are a nursing manager.
Yes, I am.
And this means what?
So this means I have to oversee the head nurses, the nurses on the ward, ensure that they have the resources to work with, ensure that we have staff to cover the shifts, to take care of the patients, and to also set policies and protocols to put into place to ensure best patient outcomes.
And you're in charge of a wards?
Basically, we manage the 5 COVID wards here at Couva Hospital.
So the 5 wards are all for Couva, COVID-positive patients?
Yes.
All right, and then I saw like a tent outside. Is that a ward?
Yeah, that is a tent to have extra beds because we have people in the community who need beds.
To increase the capacity?
To increase the capacity at Couva Hospital.
And is there an IC unit in the tent itself?
Yes, there is.
And what's the difference between ICU and like a regular one?
ICU demands more care, higher acuity of patients in terms of any one-on-one nursing and specialized doctors to see about ICU patients, and they have the ventilator, so they have to be ventilated to do the breathing for you, basically.
Okay. So Jamie, I want to bring you into this because I knew that you were initially at the Arima Hospital and now you're at Couva. What is the difference between the Arima Hospital, your experience there, and now at Couva?
Well, at Arima Hospital initially we were dealing with the suspected COVID patients, and we started dealing with the COVID positive patients recently because of the vast increase in numbers of patients. So really and truly there's no difference right now because both hospitals deal with the same thing.
So walk me through it. What is a day like with COVID positive patients? You being a nurse dealing with them. What is this day like from the time you reach there to the time you leave to go home?
When my day starts, when I get to the ward, I take over from the previous shift, find out how many patients they're handing over to me, if we had any admissions, discharges, deaths for the shift. When I get that, I look at my staffing, ensure that we have enough staffing to cover for the day, because you can't send in all the staff at the same time. You send them in half by half because there's only so much time you could spend in the hot zone, right?
So the hot zone is what?
The hot zone basically is the area where we take care of the COVID positive patients, and it is separated by a clear plastic from the cold zone.
Okay.
So you have the hot zone where is the infectious area and the cold zone where is the non-infectious area.
Yeah. And then, okay, so a nurse is heading into the hot zone. Tell me, what does she or he look like in terms of what are they wearing and this whole, what do you all have to put on to go and deal with COVID positive patients?
Right, so the cold zone, you have the donning area where you have all your personal protective equipment, the PPE. You have your gown, your goggles, your scrubs, your shoe covers, hair nets. Everything is covered except your eyes, right? You have a shield. It looks like a helmet, right? You put on all of that, and that is when you go into the hot zone through a plastic.
So you all can picture this. You have nurses coming through with all of this PPE to deal with these patients. Are you all scared that you would contract the virus even though you have on all of this PPE and then taking it off too in terms of contaminating yourself after you've dealt with the patients? Are you afraid of this?
Right, so there is an initial fear in contracting the virus from patients, but we know that we have the correct gear, we have adequate amounts of PPE available to us, and we have trained personnel who are able to doff us when we come out of the hot zone.
So you have somebody to help you to take off?
What happens is when you finish in the hot zone, you will do your specific number of hours. When you're coming out, you have someone spray you down with a special chemical and they remove each layer of your PPE.
How long would an average shift be? I know it may vary, but like how long would you be in that suit for?
Well, it depends. Sometimes you have persons 4 to 6 hours in the suits, depending.
4 to 6 hours, wow. So Shalana, back to the deaths. And I didn't want to go too deep in the initial phase, but now I need to drive this home with all of our home front viewers. You all are seeing people dying in front of you every single day.
Yes.
How do you cope with that in terms of, does it bring on stress when you get back home? Are you getting nightmares with it? What is this like? Because I have never seen someone die before my eyes. You all are seeing this?
Right, so for me, I have my junior nurses coming in. They're telling me, Nurse Bihari, patient just reached and they die. Nurse Bihari, and next death again. And so I have to be strong for them. There's a lot of counseling sometimes during the shift. I had a nurse who, she went to get a patient, it ended up being her uncle. She broke down. She started to cry. So we had to go and counsel her in there, and then she's like, you know what? But she's a trooper. She said, I'll get together and see about the other patients and stuff while her family wasn't there. And for me now, having to counsel them, it does take from you because they're looking to you as the nurse manager for strength. They're looking at you as one of the generals, so you can't afford to fall.
But what about you? You are human. You
right.
go at home.
So
you have your family.
I put on a brave front there, but when I go home, I relax with music. I say prayers. I have wine, lots of wine. I relax and help to de-stress, but sometimes it does become overwhelming. So we do access the psychologists we have there on shift, on call 24/7, and we have the medical social worker Monday to Friday, who we go and we have a little chat with because it does get overwhelming. And like I said before, because it's people around my age, it does.
So as well, Shalana, I saw a nurse posted a video on TikTok saying that she was tired. Are you all tired? Are you all...
Yes, because in the hot zone, you can't eat, you can't drink, you can't pee. So yeah, you're going to come out 4 to 6 hours, sometimes more, tired, you're drained, you're dehydrated. One of the risks you're running is being heat fatigue. You imagine you're sweating inside there, the AC pumping, but you're not feeling anything.
Yeah, because I know some of these suits kind of protect you from that.
Wet, yeah. So it does take a toll on you mentally and physically.
Jamie, have you had any bad experiences so far? What's the worst you think you have seen?
I think the worst would be any day that you come in and you see a patient that you had days before, the patient doing well and stuff like that, and all of a sudden you see the patient start to deteriorate and you know this is going to be the end. Right? I think that is some of the hardest moments that I've had to deal with.
And could you walk us through what is it like for a patient? So a lot of our viewers at home may not be COVID positive, but they may know somebody who is. And they don't know what it feels like. What have you all seen when a patient comes in? What are the symptoms you would see? How are they behaving? What is it like as a patient? What would a patient expect when they come into Couva?
Okay, so when you get over the initial fear, speaking from a patient's perspective, you get over that initial fear of having to come to a COVID facility where you know you would not be able to see your family, your loved ones. When you come up to the ward, you know, you're greeted by the nurse, even though you can't see them because everybody is in a suit and stuff. They come up where they can get the care that they need, they get the medication. The nurses try as much as possible to fill in the gaps in terms of counseling them, because you know, family can't visit them. We have a hot phone there where
so
they
your
can
family
video
members
chat.
can't?
No.
Okay.
No. So we have a hot phone. If patients don't have a cell phone, they can video chat with their relatives and stuff.
Ah, okay,
Yeah.
that's cool. But what is it like in terms of what you all see? Are they gasping for breath when they come in? Are some of them conscious? Are they unconscious? Are they forming words? What is that like for a COVID patient?
It depends on the severity of the cases. Sometimes you have patients who would be very acutely ill, and you have some of them who would come in and they're normal, just like you and I, and sometimes within time they would deteriorate. So it all depends on what level it is.
All right. And Shalana, you've been in this since last year.
Yeah.
What is the difference you have seen from last year to now?
The difference is the patients are staying longer. So last year, in the spike in August, we had a faster turnover of patients. This year, the patients have been admitted and they're spending at least 7 days with us. It's not like last year. So they're staying longer and the age is getting younger and younger. We have an adolescent right now, 10-year-old. So it's not only the age group as before we're experiencing. So we may see some more pediatric cases coming in, and we're hoping not, but this is the reality of it.
We are almost at max capacity when it comes to the parallel healthcare system, right? I've been seeing it at the press conferences. If cases keep rising, I'm going to ask Jamie first. If cases keep rising like this, do you all think you could cope with it?
Well, we have to, first of all, we have to be able to cope. We have to make adjustments. I believe that every day, you know, is a new day. So usually we will try and huddle if we know that you have an influx of patients coming in. We will say, come together and say, okay, how are we going to deal with this? Can we send people to the step-down facilities? Where can we send patients to recover? Can they go home and quarantine so that we can bring in the new set of patients that are coming in?
And Shalana, are you scared? Like you go to work and I know you put up your brave front because you have to be strong for your staff and all of that. But I mean, you're dealing with COVID positive patients. You are seeing people dying in front of your eyes every single day.
Yes.
When you put on your nurse outfit and you leave the door to head there, is there any fear in you at all that you may die or that too many people may die, or what is it like in your mind when you head out there?
The fear for me in being in management is not knowing what is the next dynamic. If we have too much, if we out of beds, what's the next step? Where we getting staff from, right? But for me, yes, I do have a fear. I think that fear keeps me in check, remind me to follow the protocols. Even when I'm talking to my friends, you know, you might slip and pull on the mask and I'd be like, yo, this strain different. You put it back up. Yeah. So the fear helps me keep in check because I am a mother, I am a daughter. I have my family who, you know, I know they're praying for me, and all the nurses have their family praying for them. So yes, it's a fear that you don't want to come home, you want to bring it home.
Right.
So you take your steps when you reach home, sanitize your shoes. If you could strip down outside and go inside, you know.
Well, that's what I'm now leading to. Like, how do you deal with that? Because you have a family, a household of other people living there. How does a healthcare worker deal with living in a household with other people?
Yeah, so I know most of us practice sanitizing your shoes outside, trying to take off all work clothes in separate area. Some nurses even install outside bathrooms so they could bathe and change outside before going in to meet their family.
But would you say that your family members are fearful of you when you come home, that they may contract the virus?
No. I had educate, my family tend to read a lot. They keep up to date with WHO and stuff. So I do have that fear at home to deal with.
Right.
I may have them telling me what I need to do, but I do have the fear. Because everybody's Google doctors, you know.
So Jamie, you've been in this, you were an Arima, and then you came to Couva. Is there anything you think you would have done differently in hindsight, looking back at everything that you have learned now? from since back then? Is there anything you would have done differently?
I think the only thing is probably engage in more training, right? More training as a nurse. I think when you become a registered nurse, people think that you stop there because you reach, but there are always programs that you could do to better yourself, to improve your skills and stuff like that. So I think probably I would have done something more.
All right. So Jamie, the camera is yours. Trinidad and Tobago is listening. What would you say to our listening audience?
Trinidad and Tobago, I would say that the onus is on you to try to curb the spread of the virus. Even though we are doing all that we can do, everyone has personal responsibility to ensure that they adhere to the protocols that are in place. It is for your safety. We are working as hard as possible, but we need your help to make things better.
Shalana, the floor is yours. Trinidad and Tobago is listening.
Trinidad and Tobago, I just want to say COVID is real. The deaths are real. It's increasing every day. The zest not worth it. The hiking not worth it. I know we're feeling like the lockdown is doing us an injustice, but it's to really help us at the end of the day. And as my colleague said, help us to help you and follow the COVID protocols, please.
So on behalf of Homefront, me personally, and the entire population of Trinidad and Tobago, we want to say thank you. And we know that you all are tired, and we know that you all are exhausted, both physically and mentally. But we want to say thank you very much, because without you all, we would not be able to get through this, right? So we want to say thank you from the bottom of our hearts, and we want you all to keep going. We want to give you that strength, to give you all that push, give you all that motivation, because you all had to be in it. You have to be there. You can't give up now, and now of all times is when we do need you all. And this is not just only the both of you all, but to all of our frontline workers out there, we want to say thank you guys very much, and keep doing it. We're not going to be in this forever, but we also need Trinidad and Tobago. Listen up. We need you all to behave and stay at home. It's an SOE. Where you going? If you're not essential, and if you can't work from home, work from home. Let's do this together. It's not going to last forever, and we're going to be back out there together. And we would like you all to please get vaccinated as well, because from what we are seeing worldwide, it's the only way for us to get out of this. I got my vaccine, you got yours, you got yours. So we need you at home. When your time comes, get vaccinated. It's Rome. This is Nurses on Set, a special episode, Homefront Unplugged. And we would always like to thank our PED CARES Foundation. As you see on the fancy cups, the PED CARES Foundation supporting all of the pediatric units out there in the Mount Hope Hospital. They train the doctors, they train the nurses, they train all of the pediatrics, they train the paramedics. They support the schools and the organizations, partner with them both locally and internationally. So you keep on supporting them, keep on donating, so that we can have a season 2 of Homefront. My name is Rome. Thank you all very much for joining us. Well done, ladies. Well done. Well done, well done.